We have on stage some New York sports legends. All right, we got some questions. So all of you have been attached to some great moments in Rangers and Knicks team history. How many times a week are you asked about it? Whether it be the dunk, the 4-point play, the penalty shot against Bure, or the Graves 1940 on the ice after the Rangers won the Cup?
The dunk, I get asked about that every single day. It's the most funniest thing. Ever since I came back to New York, started working for Madison Square Garden, I can honestly say every single day of my life, up to this point, somebody asked me about that play. I can be in Timbuktu. Somebody asked me about that play. I tell everybody, if that happened in Chicago, it's just another play. Because it happened in Madison Square Garden, it made it that much special against who we was playing against.
I've heard this said a few times with Adam that we do get asked questions and referenced our time in New York all the time. You never get tired of talking about the things that went well. We tend to forget the things that didn't go so well on purpose, but no, New York's got passionate fans, and it's awesome to share their life stories with us.
Who disliked practice the most?
Adam? Adam, answer this. Adam loved practice.
I remember one practice that I disliked that I still talked to Brian Leach about. We were doing a drill, and I was going down the right side. It was at Playland Parkway. I'll never forget the drill. And if you asked Brian, he'd smile. He'd actually probably start to laugh. And I was going down the right side. I thought I could slide between him and the boards. And for whatever reason, he backed in and knocked the wind right out of me. I was down on the ice, knocked the wind completely out of me. People said they didn't think Brian Leach hit that hard. Well, I will tell you, he hits very, very hard. So,
who was your most intense teammate?
When I was with the Knicks, it was either this guy beside me. I'm not saying it because he's beside me, but, John, if you don't know, you should check out John's history of making it to the NBA. So John had to keep that competitive edge this whole time. So John was a little crazy at times, but definitely the most competitive teammate.
Were there ever any fights, altercations during practice?
Do we have to answer that?
Yeah. It was the Knicks. It was always spice in practice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Believe me, if you came into some of our practice, you thought we didn't like each other, but we actually loved each other.
So, Larry Johnson, tell us about your all-star bet with MJ and Shaq.
Yeah, tell us, Larry.
Mike.
Like to know.
Look, Mike is a funny dude, man. And that was my first All-Star game and Shaq's first All-Star game. He saw we in the locker room like then we was starting. So he bet us $1 that we missed our first shot. Both missed the first shot, of course. I didn't pay him, though. I didn't pay him. And he hounded me the whole year. Every time I saw him, man, where's my $1? It's $2 now. You ain't getting it. You're not getting it. Good.
That's great.
That's funny.
So, how would you perform in your prime in 2019?
In today's game? Oh, man, it's been crazy. Yeah, no, I'd have loved to play in today's game. A little bit more easier.
Oh, my God. I can't
even
think about it. 20 and 10, easy.
Yeah, a lot easier, yeah. And the styles had changed, Back when we was coming up, we had guys that mostly played inside. It was an inside-outside game. Now it's mostly outside-inside game. So I don't even know if you even have an inside game. Just spread the court and see who can get to the basket. Hockey, yeah.
Yeah, Adam, you should talk about that because Adam was always in the what we call the dirty areas, the toughest spots on the ice. And if you look at some of the films, even from '94, I know it's 25 years ago, but guys are murdering each other out there, and it just wouldn't happen today. So, your strength was to get through those tough areas,
and you probably had to play probably 15, 20 pounds heavier. But I would say that a power forward now would probably play at 190. That same player would probably have to play at 210 pounds just to skate through all the cross checks and the holding and the stick work that doesn't exist now. For me, it would be hard to play with the skills that I had because I was more of a mucker and a grinder, not a speed and finesse type player.
So this one's for Adam Graves. Mike Richter got his degree from Yale. Adam, did you always know Richter was that smart?
Goalies are always the smartest on the team, and he will tell you that. And I will tell you that you had that question earlier about competitive guy in practice, and I would have said that the most competitive guy that I ever played against or with in practice would have been Mike. And you looked at his net in practice, it was always empty because he didn't want pucks sitting in his net. And if you happen to shoot, I know you'd shoot on Mike and then you'd try to finish the play and he'd be focused on another shooter and I'd put it in the net, I'd be standing in line, the puck would go right by my head because he was so mad, he's so competitive.
So for Starks and LJ, did you guys really hate the Bulls and the Pacers?
Oh, yeah. I did.
No.
I tell you what, we hated Indiana probably more so than Chicago because Indiana was built the same way we was. And they looked like us, the way they played, more of an inside-outside game. Chicago, would you say back in that time, probably was the Golden State of that league back then. More of a finesse game. But when we played them, we was looking at ourselves. So we always hate guys like that, teams like that. Yeah.
For Adam and Mike, did you guys hate the Devils?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually really interesting what Johnny's saying. They were built very similar to us. They could beat you in a lot of ways, and it's why those games were so intense, right? You go 7 games because no one's given an inch defensively.
But I will say that it's a respectful hatred.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
you respect them so much, because they bring the best out.
100%.
Actually, both teams brought the best out in each other, which was
great.
fantastic.
All right, so we're going to open up the floor here to our audience for some audience Q&A. Who's got a question for our New York legends?
Pretty much, I've always wondered this for every professional athlete. You grow up, you've been playing this sports your whole lives. Do you still play anywhere competitive? What do you do when your career is over?
Well, I guess there's 2 parts to that answer. Do I still play? Yeah. Competitively? No. I play because I love playing, and I still do it just to screw around in men's leagues and whatnot. I don't play goalie anymore. I probably would be, get a little upset because my skills aren't what they once were. But I love the game and I love playing, but I wouldn't call myself particularly good at doing it any longer.
No, I don't play. No, I play golf. That's what I do.
And very well.
I've seen it.
Very well.
No, you do not. Stop it.
Come on, confess, Al.
It's all relative.
Confess, Al. Confess.
I was a goalie growing up, and being female and, in the 90s, Richter was the man I idolized and emulated. And I just want to know how you guys feel, I guess goes to all, that you guys inspire people to not only play your respective sports, but to be as good as you at it.
If you can influence other guys, we were all mini kids at one point looking up. I grew up in Philadelphia, and any chance to watch the Flyers live was a big deal for me. Adam grew up in Toronto. I mean, you guys know how much influence a pro athlete can have, and so to be in that position, you try to take it seriously, and it's a real honor in a way. So thanks for saying that. It's nice.
Dr. J was my basketball hero, and being from Oklahoma, we didn't have a professional sports team, so we didn't get to see professional sports. It wasn't until after I became a professional basketball player I got a chance to meet Dr. J, and he was everything and more. And though it was just mind-blowing knowing that the person that I was looking up to turned out to be even better than what I saw on TV.
Thank everybody for coming out, and how about a big round of applause for our New York sports legends?